All right, guys, so here I'm going to go over a little bit of matching EQ. It's a very simple trick that I've been using for years. A lot of guys have been doing this. It's great to just reference your tracks when you're on the final stage before you want to ship the master out to the labels. It might be a little bit of a tweak to the final master sound that could make a subtle difference, but it could be very effective. So I'm just going to go through it quickly, what it is and how to do it. If you guys already know how to do this, then keep doing what you already know and move on and continue what you're doing. But if you guys aren't familiar with this, please feel free to check it out. So basically all I have here, you can see I have two stems, full songs. The bottom one here is my original called Can We, that came out on 03. And the top one is going to be the reference track that I'm using. You generally want to pick a track that's in a similar genre or has a similar vibe than your original. That way you are going to, your reference, you want it to be generally around the same sound, because when you're going to do the EQing here in a minute, you want the reading to be not too far off, because you don't want to adjust the settings. You don't want to do an overload adjustment, because then your song is going to sound totally different as far as the spectrum, and that's not what we're really trying to do here. We're trying to do a subtle EQ change to the master. So up here is Kappa's song From Here, that's also released on 03. So what I'll do is go to the master channel strip in your DAW and open up Ozone 5, 6, whatever you guys have. I'm going to use Ozone 5. Load that up. You do not need to load any preset. You want this to be completely set at default. We're going to go to the equalizer, just turn that on, and we're going to work in here. You can see 3 bands, snapshots, matching EQ bands. So we'll click on snapshots. Basically what you want to do is play the drop of each one of these songs one at a time. So you'll solo, we'll start with the reference track, you'll solo that, and I just cut the clip right to the drop, the main part. That's what we want to reference at the moment. So basically what I'll do is play the drop for, say, about 8 bars, just so the EQ can really get a snapshot of the main parts of the drop and get it as exactly accurate and to the best we can. So what we'll do is play that out right now, and when you're playing it, you want to hit Start Capture right here, and we'll play it for about 8 bars. All right, so basically you can see it gave us a nice snapshot of what that song sounds like and where it's sitting as far as in the EQ bands here. So now we can actually name that. We'll just name that the reference track. You guys can switch the color if you want, customize it, whatever you want to do there. Change the opacity to see the line a little bit cleaner, or in the background, because when you're going to put the other line on top, you don't want them to match and you want to be able to see them clearly. So what I'll do is repeat that same exact step. Now I'll solo my song down here, and I will hit Start Capture, and it's going to draw us in a whole nother line, and it's going to set another snapshot right down here. All right, so perfect. Now we have 2 snapshots. You can see that mine's the yellow and the reference is the purple one. So we'll call this the original. But like I said, you can adjust the opacity to try to get a better understanding of where yours is, or vice versa to try to see the line. But since they're great colors that aren't kind of blending, these are working good together. So basically you can see here on the low end that if I want to match more of what Kappa had, you can see that I'm a little off in this the low cut here, and there's a little bit of difference in the mid 300 range here, and then a tiny bit difference in the high. You can see right there. Nothing that's going to be too crazy to the ear. When I match these up and change them, it's not going to be a huge difference. It's going to be very subtle, but sometimes if your mix and master is a little bit different and a little bit off, sometimes you'll get a very big difference, and doing this matching stuff can completely kind of correct. Maybe there was a little bit too high or too much low, making a little bit of mud. This could clean up a little bit of things, but again, it's not going to change your mix down. Your mix down's got to be nailed, and you got to really get that done well before you get to this stage. This is just a very subtle difference right at the end of your project. So don't expect this to change the sound. This is just a very little change. So after you check these out, you'll just want to go over to matching, and you can see down here we have reference and original. Isotope added those in after we took the snapshots and the colors, and now you have reference and apply to. Basically what you want to do is take the reference file, the purple one, and we want to apply that spectrum, that reading, down to the original one. And then once you click those, you're going to click match, and you can see the whole line just moved to the appropriate settings of Kappa's song. Now you can change the amount and smoothness. And the amount you don't want to go too crazy with. You do not want to do something like this. That'll completely change everything and create a complete mess. What you want to do is keep it very subtle, smooth. I don't recommend doing anything like this. You're seeing that it's not done right. You want smooth and subtle changes. So we can see here, basically it's boosting my song this amount in the 30 to 50 range. And it's also boosting my highs. You're not going to hear too much of this. This is pushing it towards the 20K range. It's not going to be really noticeable. But you can see this little notch in the 3 to 400 range that could make a difference in the mid warmth of my song. But again, you're not going to hear a huge difference. This is very, very subtle. And let's play it with this little change and see if we can hear anything. Yeah, again, subtle. I can hear a little bit more warmth here in the 4, and I hear a little bit tiny crispness right here, and I also can hear that dip in the 10K, which was really good because that was a little bit too harsh to the ears. So that was a good little change there. So basically that's it. You can then save your setting if you want. You can save these out as a set if you want to reference those back later. But again, very cool tip and trick. If you guys didn't know about it, try it out. It could make a subtle change to your song. Again, do this right before your main export, right before you want to ship it off and be done with it. But again, definitely try to nail your mix down before you get to this step. This is not going to change your sound. This is just going to benefit you a tiny bit on certain changes in the EQ bands. So I hope that helped. Feel free to ask any questions if you guys want, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks.